Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video day, and today we're going to be talking about what the Los Angeles Chargers need to do in their offseason, what their offseason plan needs to be after being eliminated by the Houston Texans, my favorite team, 32-12. Chargers fans, if you're listening, sorry, my Texans had to eliminate y'all. Um, you know, it, it's tough. I've been there before, but you know what? You got to move on, and definitely was a tough loss for you guys, and a great win for us. But I think there's a lot of things to be excited about for this team. I think one of the big bright spots of their game today was number 15, Lad McConkey, who nearly had 200 receiving yards in this game. I think he's a big part of the future. I think, him and Justin Herbert, and obviously what Jim Harbaugh's doing, and their defense, even though their defense wasn't great today, I still think they have a great defense, and they still have the potential to be a great team. They can be a great team next year, but I think there are some things that they need to improve on to the point where they can become a better football team. And I'm going to go over some of those things. So, and I'm going to start off at the wide receiver position. I just gave a huge compliment to, Lad McConkey. I think he's a stud. He's going to be, in a couple of years, I think he's going to be at the top of the league when it comes to the wide receiver position. I think maybe by year 3, year 4 of his, maybe he could be near top 5 wide receiver level. I'm not even kidding with that. And then love Herbert. He's a great quarterback. I mean, like today, yes, he threw 4 interceptions, but I think the crazy part about that is he threw more interceptions in this game than he threw in this season. This is a guy who rarely makes mistakes like that, and unfortunately, it just happened to happen a game like this for him in the worst time possible. But you know what? There's still ways so you can get better. And there are a list of free agents for the Chargers this year. You got 24 free agents. I know that doesn't sound good, but I think the good part of it is the cap space. The Chargers are in like the top 5 of teams that have money to spend. They have like 61 million, almost 62 million in cap space this offseason. That's really good. So you have to bring those free agents back. You got the money to do it. But I do have a couple guys I think the Chargers need to bring in outside of those free agents coming back. And I'm going to get into those guys. Starting off with the tight end position, you have Hayden Hurst, who was pretty solid this year when he was healthy, but that's the case. He was not healthy. He missed 8 games this year. Will Dissly, I think, had a really good season this year, had 400 plus receiving yards in 15 games, but, he also missed some time and, isn't the best receiving tight end. Like I think he's really improved. He really improved this year as a receiving tight end, but he hasn't always been that way in his career, and he definitely made some mistakes today. One of Herbert's interceptions was targeted to Will Dissly that he tipped to, I think it was Stingley. And so, I think you could go out there and get a good tight end. I'm not saying get rid of Dissly, but with Hurst on his way out, I would presume the Chargers will not re-sign Hayden Hurst. I think you go get a nice 1-2 punch. I'm looking at a guy in New Orleans, Juwan Johnson. I love Juwan Johnson. I think he's a terrific tight end. Had 540 receiving yards this season. And I think the good thing about him, I think he's a great receiving tight end. I think that'd be great for Justin Herbert, especially with him, not having the best wide receivers. But also, he stayed healthy this year, 17 games this year. I think he'd be terrific for this Chargers team. Adding in Juwan Johnson, you have Johnson and Dissly. That'd be a really nice tight end 1-2 punch. Now, the next thing is I'd go out there and I'd go get a free safety. And I'm actually looking at another New Orleans Saint. But I think you could go either option, but I think this option is cheaper. Now, I would go out there and I'd look at Tyrann Mathieu, another New Orleans Saint. Because the Chargers could use a new free safety, but also the top free safety in free agency this year is Justin Simmons. Maybe you go after Justin Simmons. I think you target one of Justin Simmons or Tyrann Mathieu. I prefer Tyrann Mathieu. I think Justin Simmons is the way better free safety, but I think Tyrann Mathieu is going to cost way less, and you have a lot to spend. You got Khalil Mack, you got J.K. Dobbins as free agents, many more, Asante Samuel Jr. You got so many free agents. Sure, maybe Justin Simmons makes this team better than Tyrann Mathieu does, but I think Tyrann Mathieu improves this team. He's a good free safety, and he's cheaper, and you can focus on re-signing some of your free agents. Now, before I get into the own free agents of the Chargers that I think they need to bring back, I'm gonna two more things I think you need to do. The Chargers have the 23rd overall pick in this year's draft. I think it's obvious what the Chargers need to do with that pick. And let's go get a wide receiver, right? I think I'd say Emeka Ibuka would be a great fit for Justin Herbert, but I don't think he's available at 23. The Steelers are at 21. I think they probably pick him, if I had to guess. And if not, maybe you get Ibuka. But I think the next best option will probably be Luther Burden from Missouri. I think he's a really nice wide receiver, very speedy, good on deep shots, which I think would be great for Justin Herbert. I think we've seen a lot of failures when it comes to the deep shots this year for this Chargers team. A lot of dropped passes, a lot of missed deep shots for Quentin Johnston and Josh Palmer. You need to improve with that. Luther Burden could definitely help with that. And since I'm on the topic of deep shots, you need to improve with that. Herbert has been wanting to take more deep shots this year. He has such a good arm to the point where, so many plays, I think, this year, automatic touchdowns are turned into drops or incomplete passes because of errors on Josh Palmer or Quentin Johnston. And that's why I think you need to go make a trade for a wide receiver. We've heard maybe T. Higgins, maybe Garrett Wilson, maybe there's someone else. But I think the best fit is Tyreek Hill. You need speed. You need a guy who can go, run deep routes. And I think that is Tyreek Hill. I don't think Tyreek Hill is gonna be as expensive in a trade as before, since it's an off year, and not only off year, but you don't have that much control over him. It's only 2 years. They don't only have him for this year and the year after. So I'm not saying Tyreek Hill is worthless in a trade, because I don't think he isn't. I don't think he is. But you might be able to only give up a third-round pick and land Tyreek Hill. Maybe like a third. You might be able to get Tyreek Hill for a third and a fifth, or a third and a sixth, or maybe just a second. Which I don't even know if Hill's worth a second. You might be able to get him. You might be able to give up a third and a fifth or sixth and land Tyreek Hill, or a third and a fourth and land Tyreek Hill. You might not even have to give up a second-round pick to land Tyreek Hill. So, and I think that would make Herbert's offense look so much better, because look at the guys he'd have the ball to throw to with that offense. He'd have Tyreek Hill, he'd have Ladd McConkey, he'd have Quentin Johnston, Luther Burden. His tight ends would be Jawan Johnson and Will Dissly. And then we get to the running back position, because there are so many free agents for this Chargers team. What do you do? Starting off with Khalil Mack, the biggest free agent. I'm kind of iffy on Khalil Mack. I'm feeling that Khalil Mack's going to ask for a lot of money, and that's something I don't know if the Chargers give to him. Khalil Mack's an amazing player. But he's almost 34 years old, and his sacks went down this year from 17 to 6, and he only missed one game in comparison to the year before. Played 17 games last year, 16 this year. I don't think he was going to get 11 sacks in one game. So with that being said, with Khalil Mack having a down year, I'm not saying he's washed or anything, or he still can't play good football, because I 100% don't think he's washed, and I 100% think he can still play great football. But since he's almost 34 years old, I don't think you should be giving a big contract. Maybe a 2 or 3 year deal if he wants it, which is giving him money until he's 36 or 37 years old, but not so crazy on the money that Khalil Mack gets. So I just wouldn't. And I don't know how he's going to be with about how much money he gets, and if he's crazy on the money he wants in free agency, I say you just let him walk. But if you can get him on a cheap, I wouldn't say a cheap deal, because you shouldn't sign Khalil Mack on a cheap deal, but on a cheaper deal than maybe what he feels like his value should be, because I get this feeling that he's going to want more money than he's worth. And but if you can get away from that, then 100% need to re-sign Khalil Mack. All right, let's get to the backup quarterback position real quick, because both Taylor Heineke and Easton Stick are free agents. I don't know who. I think they should re-sign one of them. I just don't know who. Easton Stick's been with this team forever, but I think Taylor Heineke's the better quarterback. I think most likely Easton Stick is the cheaper option. You're trying to spend money, have so many free agents. Let's go with Easton Stick. Morgan Fox, defensive end, is a free agent. I don't know if they re-sign him. I would. I don't know, though. I'm sure DJ Chark, he walks. Denzel Perryman's a really good linebacker. As a Texans fan, I've watched Denzel Perryman. I don't think he returns, though. I don't think they bring him back. I think you got to bring back J.K. Scott, punter on a, or you don't got to, but I think it'd be nice if they brought back their punter on a cheap deal. I think a big addition or a big re-addition for this Chargers team needs to be Asante Samuel Jr. I think it would be great for them to bring back Pona Ford, J.K. Dobbins. I think you need to bring back. I don't think they are able to retain Marcus May. We'll see what happens there. I just let Josh Palmer walk. To be honest, like if like I said, I think this team would be great if they signed, or sorry, if they traded for Hill and ended up drafting Luther Burden. If you get those two guys right there, and you add him with Ladd and Johnston, I don't see the point of Josh Palmer coming back. I think it would be great if they re-sign Bradley Bozeman. Like I said, I don't think Hayden Hurst comes back. That's really it with Chargers free agents. I mean, there are a couple others, but I don't think I really need to talk about. But like I said, so I think the keys for this offseason for the Chargers, trade Hill, trade for Hill, draft Burden, sign a couple Saints and Tyrann Mathieu and Jawan Johnson, and try to bring back some names of your own, like Khalil Mack, J.K. Dobbins, one of the backup quarterbacks at a Stick, or Heineke, Asante Samuel Jr., Pona Ford. So let me know your thoughts on what the Chargers need to do this offseason. Let me know your thoughts on what I think they should do this offseason. And that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.